Okay.
We good? All right. Hey guys, my name is Joe. I'm a freshman here at Seattle University in Dr. Ruger's class. I really enjoyed my first meeting with you guys, and now I'm back and give my Icebreaker speech. So I guess I'm going to tell you guys about myself from the point of view of where I'm from, because I think where you're from really has a lot to do with who you are and what your interests are. And I found that for myself, being from Seattle and growing up in the city, I have been influenced a lot by the culture and the values and the interests of Seattle. And those are a part of me now that I'm 19 years old and a freshman in college. So one early memory I have just about Seattle, and kind of the first time I really associated myself with the city that I grew up in, I was probably 11 or 12 years old. And it was a Saturday or a Sunday. Our family was going downtown for a little day, Pike Place Market, some of the other sites downtown. And I had just learned recently the little jingle that helps you memorize the streets downtown, the Jesus Christ made Seattle under protest, because there's 2 J's and then 2 C's, and it goes up and it ends with 2 P's at Pike and Pine. So I remember my cousin and I were down near Pioneer Square at James Street, where the little thing starts, and what we did was we walked all the way up First Avenue to Pine Street, the beginning of the market, and every time we passed a new street, we would shout out the word that's associated with it. So Jesus, Jesus, Christ, Christ, made, Seattle, Seattle, under, protest, protest. And I just remember thinking that, wow, this is really cool. I know these streets, the main heart of my city, downtown. And I thought that was really cool. And ever since then, I've really thought of myself as a Seattleite. So that was a really formulative kind of event in my life. And it's kind of made me who I am now, especially with some of my hobbies, which have been really influenced by Seattle. So we'll go into some of those now. Number one, I'm actually really into roasting coffee. I have a coffee roaster at my parents' house up in Bothell. And every time I go back, for a weekend or over winter break or spring break, I make sure to have pre-ordered some green coffee beans, some unroasted beans, from places like Ethiopia, Java, Sumatra, El Salvador, Colombia, just really good coffee from all over the world. So I'll get some half-pound bags of green beans and roast them. And I think that's really a product of me as a Seattleite. Seattle is known as the coffee capital of the world. We have Starbucks. My uncle actually helped start another coffee company in Seattle. You guys might have heard of Storyville. They're a really good coffee shop there. They have a store down in the market. It's a really beautiful coffee shop, but we're really known for our coffee here. And even though I do like drinking coffee, even more than that, I like roasting it. And there's a lot of different types of roasts that I've experimented with and tried out. And it's really a fun hobby. It's something I really, really enjoy. And I think it's definitely a product of where I'm from and my life as a Seattleite. I've been here for 19 years. Maybe I'll never leave. We'll see. But that's definitely a part of who I am. So number two, I'm really into exploring nature. Recently I took some of my friends from Seattle University who aren't from around here. We took my car and we went up to the Tulip Festival. I'm sure some of you guys probably went up there. My Instagram feed was bombarded by tulip pictures for a week. But yeah, it was really beautiful. Then I drove them down Whidbey Island. We stopped at a couple of beaches that I really like, and it was a beautiful sunny Saturday. So I really took pride in showing off my state, Western Washington, to some of these people who are from all over the country. And lots of other beautiful places in this area of the state that I really enjoy going to, like Mount Rainier, the Olympic Peninsula. But what's so cool about Seattle is that all of these places are within just a couple of hours drive. If you go over the mountains, you're in a desert. We've got the rainforest on the Olympic Peninsula. We've got mountains. We have water, islands, wildlife. It's just such a unique place geographically, and there's so much beautiful things to see. And last of all, I think that something that's really influenced me as a Seattleite is our city's progressive nature. Seattle's been a leader in social justice and equality for decades. We've been consistently ahead of the curve with regards to treating everyone as they should be treated as humans. For my senior project in high school, for my sociology class, a friend and I actually did a little social experiment downtown where we would ask people if housing was a human right, first dressed up in suits, and then we would ask the same question to people just on the street dressed up like we were homeless. And the responses were very, very different, and the way we were treated was very, very different, and we wrote a paper about that. So super interesting, and I think that my interest in social justice and equality has been influenced to a large amount by the fact that I'm from Seattle, a place that values that so highly. So in conclusion, I guess to best understand me, it's pretty easy to look at where I came from and the city I grew up in, because I really do think that you're influenced by where you come from, and that affects your values to a great degree and interests. Thank you guys.
Our first evaluator is going to be Aitana for evaluating Joseph. So let's welcome Aitana.
I'm just going to do it from here.
Okay.
Joe, great job. I really, really enjoyed your speech. You were very confident, nice body language. I love the little 3-step process you had there. That was great.
So we had a great chart.
Okay. Joe, I think that your concept was really good. The way that you tied it all into the place that you're from, Seattle, a place that we all know and love since we're here. And each of the things that you talked about, the outdoors, coffee, social justice, those are all definitely very Seattle topics. And it was cool that you were able to tie them in so nicely. I think that the one thing that I would have really liked to see was a little bit more passion. You could tell that you were really into what you were talking about, especially when you were talking about that coffee stuff. So don't be afraid to show a little initiative and really get into it. Or when you're talking about the scene with you and your cousin, you're walking up the street house, give us a little description. What did people's faces look like when you were shouting out Jesus at the street corner? Or protest. I think that even just a little bit more description, some adjectives to help us paint the picture in our head would really help. Overall, great job.
Thank you.